Today we're going to be talking about the Adobe Photoshop interface as well as the Adobe Creative Cloud. Now the Adobe Creative Cloud I like to compare to Steam. If you download Steam, you have no games. You go to Steam to download the games. If you download the Creative Cloud, you have no graphic design tools, but that's where you go to download those graphic design tools. So we're going to start with the Adobe Creative Cloud. So first you'll need to go to adobe.com and download the Creative Cloud if it isn't already installed on your computer. Up at the top right, you'll have your option for your account. You'll need to sign in to your account. Once you've signed into your account, you should see options under these apps that say open or install. If you need to install onto your computer, make sure you have the right version that you are installing. So if I go into my three little dots underneath each one of these apps and go down to other versions, I can see which version of this software I have installed. But really very little changes between each of these versions because they release an update on this every month, if not more often than that. So don't worry if you're on a different version than me, it's not going to make much difference. At most, they'll move where the tools are a little bit, or they might add one tool here and there. There's nothing major. Most of the tools have been the same tools since Photoshop was created. Now I will say that if you are working on multiple computers, so if you're working on Photoshop at work, at home, and at school, I would recommend making sure you have the same version on all three machines. That way you don't have any issues with like moving a file into a new version of the software, because sometimes that will create an issue. So once you've installed Photoshop on your computer, you'll just click open right here and that will open up Photoshop for you. Now once Photoshop opens, it's going to give you the basic interface of most of the Adobe programs. It'll give you some little helpful stuff at the top and it'll give you your most recent files down towards the bottom. On the left hand side we have options for new file, open, home, learn, which has some different tutorials. Your files, these are any files you've saved into the Creative Cloud, things that may have been shared with you and things you may have deleted along the way. Now you also have a main menu up here at the top, and this main menu is pretty vital to understanding Photoshop. Now you can click on new file right here or open, but it's up here as well under file new or file open. There are shortcuts, Control or Command N, Command or Control O will open or create a new document. So I'm going to hit File and then go to New. I'd like you to do the same. Now this is your new document dialog, and up here at the top they have different template sizes depending on what you may be working on. So if you're working on photography, these are your basic photography sizes. If you're working in print or web or working on mobile devices or film and video, these are all presets to help you along the way, and you can hit View All Presets to see a few more options here. Now I want you to go to where it says Print, go to Letter, click on that, and over on the right you'll see the measurements change to match letter. Now these presets are all well and good, but more often than not you're going to find yourself on the right making your own document your own size. So I'd like you to name this document Interface, and where it says Width, I want you to change it to 8 inches, height, change it to 10 inches. And do make sure you're on the right measurement. It's very easy to end up on points and have a micro-sized document all of a sudden. Now by it being taller than it is wide, we are creating what's called a portrait document. So this is a tall document. If you're taking a picture of a person, you're going to hold your phone out like this, right? If you're taking a picture of a landscape, you're going to hold it out like this. And that's a wide area, the landscape option. So we're going to go to portrait and leave it there. Resolution is 300 pixels per inch. Now that means that it's fairly high resolution. You're not going to have many issues seeing pixels when you print out as long as you do it correctly. There are options for lower resolution depending on what you're looking to do. The standard 3 are 72 pixels per inch. 150 pixels per inch or 300 pixels per inch. We're going to leave it at 300. Now the color modes, we have a few different options here, but the only two we're really going to focus on are RGB, which stands for red, green, blue, and CMYK, which stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So RGB is digital color. The screen you're watching right now, red, green, and blue work together to create all of the different colors that you're looking at. If you've ever dropped your phone, and saw a line of color going down the middle of it, it was likely black, white, red, green, or blue, right? It just depends on what happened to that phone. Now, CMYK is everything that comes out of a printer. So printers use 4 basic colors to create every color of the rainbow, and that is your CMYK colors. So if you're doing something that's going to be printed, CMYK is the place to be. If you're doing something that's going to be on a screen, RGB is the place to be. So let's go to RGB. Now under background contents, we have options that start as white. This is what color your actual canvas is going to be. You could change this to black or any custom color that you want it to be. I'm just going to leave it as white for the time being. If yours matches mine, hit create. Now, this is your actual interface into Adobe Photoshop. This is what Photoshop looks like. In Photoshop, on the left-hand side, we have what's called the toolbar. We have a long list of different tools that you may be working with. We have our tab for the document we're working on. This bar up here towards the top is called your options bar, or sometimes your control panel. Up at the very top, you have your main menu, and you can see a lot more of these are open now. There's a lot less grayed out areas. To the right-hand side, this area is called your workspace, and your workspace is infinitely customizable with different panels inside the workspace. We can snap these things to the sides, we can move them around. Notice that my toolbar is fairly skinny, and it's not showing me all my tools. If that happens, there are these 2 little arrows at the top of the toolbar you can click on to kind of give you a double column instead of the single column so you can see everything. So you'll see me on this double column. If you'd like the single column and your computer works for that, you go right ahead. Now, the tools are varied, and depending on what tool you're on, your control panel is going to change up at the top. Your options bar right here at the top is really an option for your tool. So hit T on your keyboard. That's your type tool. You'll see options in the option bar for that type tool. Hit B, you get options for your brush tool. Hit C, you get options for your crop tool. Hit V, you get options for your move tool, right? So there are different things that this options bar is going to show you at the top depending on what tool you have selected at the time. That's going to be the key thing here. Now over on the right hand side, your panels. That's where things can get a little complicated. Our workspaces can be wide and varied. Up here at the top right corner, just underneath the X button, there's a little arrow pointing down. If you click on these and kind of move through these with me, you'll see the different workspaces that are preset inside this program. So go to Core Tools. You'll see these are the core tools that they have in this program. If you are a person that uses this to paint, if you're a digital artist, you might stick in this painting option because these are going to give you better options to paint inside of Photoshop. If you're a photographer, you might be on this photography version of the workspace. We're going to stick on the essentials for the most part. Now the essentials workspace has a certain number of panels in here, and we're going to be using these panels fairly regularly. But I want to see how I can adjust, change, and alter these panels so they can do different things for you. So let's grab each individual panel, like color, swatches, gradient. Let's drag these into the middle so you can see what they do. Just drag each panel into the middle, make a big old mess of these different panels. Now, these are individual panels. Together, they're a workspace. Having them all messy like this can create issues for you. So I'm going to focus on the layers panel for a second. The layers panel right here, for me to add a panel to that to create a workspace, I need to drag that over. So now if I hover with my mouse over this panel, it does not automatically light up blue. What's going to happen here is I need to hover with my mouse specifically, not where the panel is, where my mouse is. And wherever my mouse is, it's going to attempt to snap that panel to the other one in that location. So if I let go with this right side lit blue, it's going to connect these two together. They'll move as one with paths on the right side of layers. If I were to move this down to the bottom and look for that bottom blue line, it'll connect it to the bottom down here. If I were to put it just to the right of the word layers, it'll light the whole box blue. And that'll put it in that same box with just different tabs here. Now, each panel has certain things in it that you need to kind of see. So with layers, we can see that it has at the top this little 2 arrow point. I can click on that to collapse this down. I can shrink that down to icon view. I can make that bigger by hitting that again. I do recommend keeping them open, especially when you're new. There is this little hamburger menu right here, this drop down menu. Almost every panel has this, and this gives you options for that panel, things that you might need to do or might need to see along the way. So if you're looking for something specific in a panel and you can't tell where it is, hit those 3 little lines, those 4 little lines, and look for the option you might be looking for. Each panel is going to have buttons and areas down towards the bottom. This plus symbol is always create new. This is always a group. This is always trash. The others might alter a little bit depending on what you're doing. And if you hover over them, it'll tell you a little bit about them. It might even give you a quick little video on how to do these things. So if you can't tell what that button is, just hover your mouse over it for a second and it'll tell you exactly what it is. Now, it's very easy with these layers or these panels to get lost in the sauce and have these everywhere on your screen. If you have a mess like this and you want to fix it, go to Window, Workspace, and look for the option that says Reset. Now you can reset the essentials back to how they looked originally. This is exactly what I want. Now the Reset Essentials tends to have these 2 panels right here, these 2 little ones. One's called History, one's called Comments, and I don't like these in this location. So I want you to grab the one that says Comments and drag that to the middle, exiting out of Comments. You won't need it. The History panel, I'm going to take that off as well. And I'm going to click and hold on the History tab, moving it over to the right of Libraries. I'm going to put it in that same set with adjustments and properties. Now, if these panels are not showing like you need, for example, you can see my Layers panel down here is collapsed and closed. You can double click on any of these panels and it'll shrink down that panel. So if I don't need properties, but I do need layers, I'll open layers, maybe even properties with it. So that way I can kind of see what I'm looking for. I can collapse them all down if I want. I can shrink them down. I can turn them into icons like this so you can see exactly the name of each panel. I can go down so you can't even see the name. I don't recommend doing it this way because it's a little bit of a headache every time you need to see your layers or channels to come over here and click on it. So I recommend having it open unless you're working on a very small screen. Alright, if you need to save your workspace, which is what we want to do, go to Window, go to Workspace, and this time hit New Workspace. And name this workspace whatever you would like to call it. I usually name this over my sleepiest child in class. So I'll name it, hit save, and if I need to reset that at any point, I can reset the new workspace. I can see it right here at the top. That's my new workspace. I can reset it. It'll always come back to how this looks. So this is the basic of your interface. I recommend being able to see all your tools on the left. I recommend your panels looking like mine on the right. Up at the top, you have your main menu and you have your options bar. This is wildly interchangeable. You can do a lot with this. I can move my tools over to the right side if I want. I can move my tools over to the left. I can put my panels over here if I want. There's just infinite options to how you can want this to look. I can put my panels down at the bottom. It makes a big mess, but I can do it. And if you make a big mess, you can't get out of it, reset your workspace. It'll go right back to how you want it to look. So that is the basics of your interface. Do not forget the areas because I'll be calling them out pretty frequently. If you don't have your Creative Cloud subscription, make sure that you get that so that you can get into the program first. So that is your daily dose of design. If this helped you out in any way, shape, or form, please subscribe to the channel to keep that creative toolbox building. See you in the next one.